Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into the known facts, the timeline, and the lingering mysteries of a truly tragic aviation accident up in the Adirondacks. We're going to unpack the reporting we have so far to piece together exactly what happened on a flight that honestly seemed perfectly routine right up until its final moments.
We're starting right off the bat with these chilling words from an eyewitness, Braylon Pliskowski. When you're trying to figure out an aviation incident, accounts from folks on the ground are absolutely vital. It gives us a visceral sense of the aircraft's behavior right before the data recorders cut out, and really sets the stage for everything we're going to look at today.
So picture this. It was supposed to be a peaceful Sunday evening on July 12th. We're near Piseco Airport, which is this small public-use facility tucked right into the town of Arietta. If you know the area, you know it's stunning and usually incredibly quiet. But that tranquility was completely shattered right around dinner time as this incident unfolded in the nearby woods.
Just to give you a spatial understanding of where we're at, Piseco Airport is in Hamilton County, roughly 90 miles north of Albany, New York. We're talking the heart of the Adirondacks here. The terrain in this region is rugged, heavily wooded, and can be pretty unforgiving. That's a critical piece of context when we start thinking about search, rescue, and recovery operations.
Now, as for the machine itself, the FAA swiftly confirmed the aircraft was a Cessna 182. This is a super common, highly reliable single-engine light airplane. It's basically a staple in general aviation, used all the time for personal flights just like this one. Knowing the type of aircraft helps investigators know exactly what kind of performance, range, and mechanical history they're dealing with.
Section 1. The pilot and the flight. Let's look at who was behind the yoke and where they were trying to go.
Sheriff's investigators confirmed that the lone occupant was 74-year-old Kenneth J. Andreo from Valhalla, New York. It's always a heavy moment when we put a name to these incidents, but it's so important to remember that at the center of this investigation is a person who set out on a Sunday flight entirely unaware it would be his last.
Mapping out the route, the flight actually started further south in Poughkeepsie, New York. From there, Mr. Andreo made his way north, navigating toward the Adirondacks with the objective of landing at Piseco. For a Cessna 182, this is a standard, totally manageable cross-country hop, and honestly, everything seemingly went perfectly according to plan for the vast majority of the journey.
But then, we hit a devastating reality. Tragically, the plane crashed into the woods just 150 yards short of the runway. I mean, think about that distance, a football field and a half. The aircraft had essentially made it. It was on its final approach, literally right on the threshold of safety, when something catastrophic brought it down into the trees.
Section 2. Eyewitness to the fall. Let's return to the vivid accounts from the people on the ground to understand those final chaotic moments.
Reconstructing the timeline, we know the flight arrived near Piseco somewhere between 7 and 7:30 p.m. It was within this really tight, half-hour window that things went drastically wrong, resulting in the crash and a post-crash fire. Because the timeline is so specific, investigators will definitely be zeroing in on weather, light conditions, and mechanical data for that exact window.
Now, crucially, our eyewitness noted that after circling the lake and doing a figure 8, the plane, quote, came back towards the airport looking like it was going to land. Then it started to go down. This is a big detail. It suggests the pilot was actively maneuvering, lining up for the runway. It wasn't a sudden, unguided plummet from cruising altitude, It was an interrupted landing sequence.
Adding to the intensity of the scene, that same witness claimed responding firefighters initially went into the wooded crash site but had to immediately back away after hearing an explosion. Now, it's crucial to note here that these explosion details are still unconfirmed by official authorities. However, it definitely paints a picture of a highly volatile and dangerous environment for those initial first responders trying to reach the plane.
Section 3. The ongoing investigation. Let's look at the massive response that followed.
While we wait for those specific details to be verified, we know for a fact the emergency response was massive, immediate, and incredibly well coordinated. We had the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, NYS Forest Rangers, plus the Piseco, Lake Pleasant, and Speculator Fire Departments all rushing to the scene. In a remote area like this, that kind of multi-agency response is just absolutely critical to put out a fire and secure a hazardous site safely. Once the fire was out and the area was secured, the baton was passed. The scene has now been officially handed over to federal authorities. Both the FAA and the NTSB are stepping in to lead the investigation. The NTSB are the ultimate experts here. They'll disassemble the wreckage if they have to, analyze the engine, the flight controls, and the pilot's history to figure out the definitive cause. Section 4. Contextualizing the danger. Let's place this event into recent local aviation history.
Because, as it turns out, this isn't an isolated incident for the area. Just days prior to the Piseco tragedy, another plane crashed near Blair's Bay on Lake George. While all the occupants in that instance thankfully survived, seeing these two incidents side by side highlights a pretty sobering reality. It really shows how quickly and unpredictably a routine flight over these beautiful, unforgiving landscapes can turn into an emergency.
As we wait for the NTSB to piece together this puzzle, authorities are reminding the public that all current information is completely preliminary. Aviation investigations are notoriously meticulous. They take a lot of time, and initial reports very often change once physical evidence actually gets analyzed in a lab.
So, the crucial point we're left with is this overarching mystery. What exactly caused this Cessna 182 to fall from the sky just 150 yards from safety? Was it a sudden mechanical failure? An unseen medical emergency? Or maybe an unpredictable shift in the mountain winds? The NTSB definitely has a tough job ahead of them to bring closure to this tragedy. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. As we await those final reports, it leaves us to wonder, just how thin is the line between a routine landing and sudden disaster?